What's up everyone, OJ here, welcome back to another video, and it has just been revealed that there will be more Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC characters in addition to Banjo being available right now if you have the Fighters Pass, and also Terry Bogard from Fatal Fury and King of Fighters fame is coming as a downloadable fighter in the Challenger Pack number 4 for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. But the biggest thing that might have been in this Direct, because the Direct was fantastic, but the biggest thing in this Direct could be the announcement that there will be more DLC fighters in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate outside of the 5 and the DLC Challengers Pack number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you guys believe this? And I'm wondering, wait a minute, didn't Sakurai say like his hands are hurting and there's all sorts of stuff going on and he wants to try out new things and he doesn't know how much longer he's going to be going? But then I realized, I sat back and I just took a second to realize my man Sakurai is going for greatness. My man Sakurai has the killer instinct, but bigger than all of that is that my man Sakurai has secured the bag. The big bag. I mean, he's already secured the bag before. I mean, the guy is doing pretty well, but I'm pretty sure he secured the big bag, because there was one thing that he alluded to in this, and what I mean by secure the bag, guys, is that Nintendo is going to pay him a butt ton of money to continue making DLC fighters. But the one reason why I think this, which Sakurai hasn't really alluded to how much he's making off of it, whatever the case is, and that's fine, that's their business. Okay, we see the sales numbers, we see how Smash Brothers is continuing to sell even at $60 a clip. Nintendo's making maximum profit off of that. Nintendo's making crazy money off of the eShop sales with Super Smash Brothers and all of the DLC and Mii Fighters and all the stuff that they're charging for. They're obviously making probably billions of dollars off of Super Smash Brothers, or multi-hundreds of millions of dollars off of Smash. But I think the biggest thing that you can tell in his body language, as somebody who studied communication and body communication, is that he wanted to be modest about something, but he alluded to them making a ton when he said that it sold really well and they're happy with how well the game is doing. That right there just goes to show you that they're making more money than they have ever made before in Super Smash Brothers history, because Super Smash Brothers Ultimate has already become the best-selling Super Smash Brothers game of all time, despite it being on the Nintendo Switch. The Wii had a bigger install base and the Nintendo 3DS had a bigger install base as well, and it's already outsold those two systems in its very early life. We're not even up to a year of Smash Ultimate being out, with more DLC being announced. So they had an offer that Sakurai just simply couldn't refuse. He could not refuse it, because it was going to be a massive bag, a massive money bag, in order to continue doing this. But I also think it goes past that. Sakurai, I don't think, is just about the money, because obviously he has plenty of it. I think he wants to become the greatest. I think that he wants this game to become the greatest when it comes to fighting games, because to this point, it already has a big enough crossover to be like the biggest crossover that is not some type of fan thrown together game like Mugen or something like that. There are so many franchises represented. There are so many different characters in this game. It's absolutely nuts what they've been able to do. But Sakurai knows that he can take it a step further and a step further. And I feel that he has that same killer instinct in terms of being the best, or driving to be the best in his field, that Michael Jordan would have in basketball, or Tom Brady in football, or Wayne Gretzky in hockey, or something like that. There is a drive to this man that we have not seen before. And once you secure that bag, that huge bag, on top of already having something that you built pretty much yourself, ground up, with of course the developers helping, but this is Sakurai's baby when it comes to Super Smash Brothers, you know you have to keep going. And I think that's what's driving Sakurai. That's what's going to keep more DLC fighters, because I thought that they were going to be done after this. I felt that after the first DLC pack and all the different challenges that we got, it's like, yo, this is complete. We've got like 80 characters, but it seems like we could be getting upward of 90 characters or more in this game. This is unprecedented when it comes to a crossover fighting game. It's absolutely surreal. It's unreal. We are living in a moment to where this game, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, has literally ascended to a god status, and to me is pretty much in the running, if not already the best fighting game of all time. And we know it's the biggest crossover of all time. They added in home run contest, which is great. Been playing with Banjo, fantastic character. Seems like they've smoothed out a couple things online too when it comes down to it. Still missing some stuff here and there, and there's still some things that they can add to make the experience better, but at the same time, I still feel that everything that this game has to offer is just absolutely incredible, and it's going to continue getting better with more DLC characters, with more updates, and they did say no more game modes being added in, but they already added in an online tournament mode, they already added in the home run contest, they already have plenty of content already in there when it comes to other stuff that you can play. So I feel that Sakurai is going for something that's unprecedented, and he has that drive, because literally there's no other game that's been released in the past decade or so that even comes close to Smash Brothers when it comes to the amount of fighters and the amount of content, when it comes to everything that you can do in the game with stages, with music, with fighters. It's just crazy. Over 100 stages, like what, nearly 1,000 songs, and over 70 something characters out of the box. That's nuts. There's no other game like that. No other fighting game at all. So Sakurai is going for something great. The bag has been secured, and they gave him an offer that he could not refuse, and I'm so happy that there's more DLC fighters, and I'm so happy that legends like Terry Bogard from SNK are getting in, and there's going to be even more characters. So we could see Rex. We could see something like that. People have been asking for him to be in. We could see maybe some more Star Fox characters. Crystal with her staff that she has, maybe we get something like that. So when it comes to first party or third party, and I guess I can speak on who I think is going to be some of the extra DLC fighters, which I talked about a little bit, but I guess I can elaborate just a little bit more. I kind of wanted to talk more about this because I freaking love Super Smash Brothers, but I think that there's definitely for sure 100%, in my opinion, so I guess it's not 100%, but 99% sure that I think that there's going to be a Resident Evil character. So this could be Leon S. Kennedy from Resident Evil 2 / Resident Evil 4 / Resident Evil 6. He's been in multiple Resident Evil games. Or this could even be Jill Valentine, who's been in multiple Resident Evil games as well. A lot of those characters show up on the Nintendo Switch. Resident Evil 4 came out this year. I think that Nintendo and Capcom have gotten really close when it comes to Resident Evil titles, and while we might not be getting the bigger Resident Evil games, like let's say for example Resident Evil Remake 2 or Resident Evil 7 in a normal form, Resident Evil 7 has that stupid like cloud version or whatever, but we are getting a lot of the older Resident Evil games. We have the Resident Evil collection that recently just launched, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5 and 6 are coming as well. There's already Resident Evil Revelations, the double pack there with Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 kind of packed in there. So I do feel that there is a good working relationship and Resident Evil kind of atmosphere with the Nintendo Switch. And I also feel that we could get some type of exclusive Resident Evil game on the Nintendo Switch with Capcom and Nintendo working together in the future at some point, considering how well the Switch is selling. But I think that that might be a trickle effect into Super Smash Brothers, just because there's so many different franchises. I mean, Fatal Fury, which we talked about, Terry Bogard, there's Sans from freaking Undertale as a Mii fighter. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff going on with this game, but Resident Evil is that franchise that's missing, that historic classic Japanese horror action franchise, and I think that that might be the next one that we see. That might be the Challenger Pack number 5, what we get, or that could be Resident Evil with the next DLC characters. I also feel that Sora from Kingdom Hearts has a very high possibility of getting in at some point. I think that we could get a port of Kingdom Hearts 3 at some point to Nintendo Switch, or even some of the older Kingdom Hearts games might come over to Nintendo Switch. And Kingdom Hearts Sora in particular has been on multiple different Nintendo platforms before in the past. So I feel that there is definitely a relationship there between Square Enix and Nintendo. We've already seen Hero, for example, make his way into Super Smash Bros. And also Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. So it makes sense to me that maybe there's another Square Enix rep in some way, shape, or form. There's always been rumors about Geno, but that's not going to happen. It seems like that time has passed. That might have been something that you could do for Super Smash Bros. Brawl, or at least Smash 4, but hey, it is what it is there. But overall, there's like a lot of characters they can pick from, right? People have talked about all sorts of stuff. Some people want a lot more like Western characters, and what we got was a Mii fighter with Undertale and Sans. But we'll see going forward. I know there's been a lot of talk about potentially getting more female fighters into the game, because with the Fighters Pack 1, all we really have is Banjo and Kazooie. Well, Banjo's the male, but Kazooie's the female character in there, and Banjo's really good, by the way, which I talked about just a little bit. Banjo's super good in the game, at least in my opinion. I like using him. Not that he's going to be super good that you can use him in competitive and like beat MKLeo or something, but he's just fun to use, so he's good enough to use for me. There could be a lot more. We don't know what Nintendo's going to do. Maybe it's going to be more third-party characters with the next one. Maybe it's going to be first-party characters. We just don't know. Maybe Waluigi finally gets in. Either way, I'm very happy with today, very happy with the Direct. I'm happy with how Smash Brothers, pretty much my favorite game on the Nintendo Switch, has continued to develop and evolve into the beast that it is today. So what are you guys' thoughts on the Super Smash Brothers with more DLC coming, Sakurai getting back to it, and him continuing on? What are your thoughts on all of this? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future, and subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.